Hello, I'm Eric Kuhlman. I'm the department chair for the Social Studies Department here at Lima Central Catholic, and I just want to give you an overview of the things that are going on in the history department. First, American government. We have John Schneiders and Wes Horstman are teaching American government this year. So far, they've talked about the purpose of government, the types of government, and how we went from the Articles of Confederation to the development of the Constitution. One of the cool things that they do in there, they do look at the 27 amendments to the Constitution, and they do a poster project, which Mr. Schneiders hangs and Mr. Horstman will hang all around their room. The kids do a really good job, and it's a kind of a competitive thing on who's going to get up on the wall. Where they're going next, they are going to be looking at branches of government and Supreme Court cases. And a big thing that's a part of the American government thing is that they do a research paper and an oral presentation, which kind of prepares them for the capstone project. In addition, macroeconomics, they've looked at the basics of economics, including things like supply and demand, business ownership, and intervention by the government. The cool thing that they do in there is they do economic interviews, where the students go out and they interview business owners, or people in finance and in the government. In the future, Mr. Schneiders said that they are going to be reading an economic or finance-related book and doing a book review, so that'll be kind of neat in preparation for them going to college. In current events, they've discussed topics such as global terrorism, natural disasters, North Korea. Mr. Schneiders does a cool thing where they do a Socratic seminar where they discuss issues from different points of view, and the students have to display their points of view. They're also going to be talking about race relations here in a bit, so that should be an interesting topic. Mr. Mishkevich teaches U.S. history, and so far they have talked about the causes of the Civil War and the Reconstruction period. And right now they are kind of segueing out of Reconstruction and learning about the Ku Klux Klan and westward expansion. Something neat that he did this year is he tied in what happened in Charlottesville with the Ku Klux Klan, and they're kind of having a serious discussion about that. I'm Mr. Kuhlman. I teach world history. We've done themes of history, which include things like perspective and cause and effect, analyzing political cartoons. We've done world religions where we compared Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, along with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Every unit we do things where we look at maps, and the kids have to interpret maps and do shading, and it really helps with their ability to learn some geography, which is an area that I've seen as being less addressed every year. In addition, every unit we interpret a primary source. They have to read documents from that time period and answer questions off of those, and we continue to work on our writing that way. A new thing we're doing this year is we added a critical thinking prompt every unit to have kids kind of make an argument. There's not a right or wrong answer, it's their ability to make an argument and kind of working on those higher order thinking skills. For example, in the first unit with the religions, we had the students defend or refute. Would our society be better if the government adopted the 10 Commandments as the law of the land? And I got some interesting responses going back and forth between them. In our current unit with the Renaissance and Reformation, we are looking at the immorality of the Spanish Inquisition in comparison to the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques. So these are kind of interesting things. As we continue to move forward, we're getting through the Renaissance and Reformation, and we'll move into exploration from there. If you have any other questions about what we do here at the Social Studies Department, don't be afraid to ask. Thanks.
Mr. Krugman, I just want to say that I am so excited to be making this English department video to share with the academic boosters. I think that's who's going to see this. This may be the best video ever made. Believe me, the likes of which perhaps the world has ever seen. Mrs. Cordell, my colleague, what she's doing in her classes, special things are refining their writing through a study of fiction, drama, and poetry. They're also working on research skills in their capstone projects, and that's in English 12 and College English 11. They're working on foundational academic writing skills. They've been practicing how to write a strong summary. They're moving into analysis, and will then conclude with argumentative writing and a research project at the end of the semester. In her English 9, Honors English 9, they're reading and writing about a variety of texts related to dreams, poverty, materialism, the role families play in these topics. And then they're going to get into Greek mythology and Shakespearean drama, as well as Holocaust literature, and also working on effective research skills. My colleague, Brooke Schmerge, for the freshmen, she said that she and Noel have collaborated to create more unity between all of the 9th grade classes, and all the freshmen are doing more with vocabulary and writing. Her sophomores, they're finishing up a unit with short stories that focus on the theme of heroes. Then they're going to move into African literature with Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. They're doing some more informational reading and writing this year, and they're going to incorporate a periodical article of the week assignments. Mrs. Portal does these with her honors freshmen as well. In my classes, we're going to continue to read and write, as always, prepping seniors for their capstone project, their research paper and presentation. Recently, we've had some guest presenters. We had Jamie Lynn Smith from Bluffton University, who spoke on creative writing, and the other presenter I had was from UNOH on topics related to resume design, choosing a college, and the importance of first impressions. One other thing I'm pushing this year with all my students is the possibility of doing a poetry performance night, which involves students presenting original poetry in a slam poetry format. So this is a very high energy, potentially emotional format, but I think it's a really cool thing that we can pull that off. These are the things, kind of some of the things we're doing in English, which is the best department in the school among the academic. The teachers that walk into the 200 wing here, where the English department resides, often become lightheaded. They are not used to the atmosphere in this kind of high achieving air. Thank you. I hope you're more well informed what's going on in our English department. Thank you very much.
Okay, the science department is currently working with Professor John Davis from Rhodes State with updating our chem lab, getting rid of things that we don't need and finding out some new things that we do need, and he's going to come in and do some demonstrations, and we're going to partner with him a little bit to update our chemistry facilities. In biology, we just finished doing some presentations on evolution, and in physics, physics is doing what physics does. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Trudy Thompson. I'm the math department chair here at LCC, and I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. We've got Mr. Horseman. He is still teaching some of our basic classes, our algebra, and he's also working in the social studies department this year. We've got Miss Mullenauer. She is teaching our geometry and algebra 2 classes, and I am teaching the ONU College Credit Plus statistics, college algebra, and calculus. So again, in our underclassmen classes, we've got Miss Mullenauer and Mr. Horseman, who are making sure that the students are learning the Common Core mathematics. We do have new textbooks in those classes, and it's a sequence of books that takes them from algebra, geometry to algebra 2. So we're very grateful to have new books that are working a little bit better for the students. So new course we have this year that I'm excited to tell you about is problem solving. It's a semester-long course, and I'll be teaching that starting in January. One of the things we'll be doing is making sure that students are prepared for the ACT problem-solving problems and like the word problems. So we're going to get them a little bit more comfortable with that. We're also going to be learning some fun things with card games and the math behind some card games. We do have these giant cards that we're also going to be working with in statistics. We're going to be doing some activities with dice, so the students will be able to calculate some probabilities. And again, just going over some simple algorithms and why certain games work the way they do. We're also getting ready to start our new Alpha Theta Math Club. If your student is interested, we do begin next Tuesday on October 3rd, and we have math contests almost every Tuesday for the rest of the year. There are a couple times we have off, but for the most part, we're going to be taking lots of fun contests this year. So if the kids like math, make sure they're joining the math club. And we're just about ready to announce our September Math Student of the Month. So that'll be very exciting. That should be announced here in just a couple days. And we will have a Math Student of the Month every month to encourage students to participate in class, make sure they're doing their homework, help their peers. Those are the kind of things the math teachers are looking for to nominate those students. And lastly, if you do have a student in statistics, I would encourage you to ask them about the birthday paradox problem. That's a problem that we spent the first week and a half, 2 weeks of school on for them to really understand probability, which we'll be getting into more later on this semester. But we did use some cards to simulate that activity, and I think the students had a good time learning a little bit about probability. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm glad you guys were all able to make it. Thanks.
Hello, Mrs. Edsborn here at the art department. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing. The first thing would be that we have a brand new choir and band director this year, Mr. David Buckholt. He's already brought the band to the fair, did well there with the flags. And then on October 7th, they'll have the senior show during the football game. And then a couple weeks later, they'll be going to Wapak for the Halloween parade. He has lots of great plans with the band and the choir though this year. We're thinking of a collaboration between both the art and the band that'll be seen at the art show in the spring. The other thing that I have for you is yearbooks are in. You can get them at the business office if you forgot to order one. There are some extra ones available for purchase, or if you know anybody that graduated last year that needs to go pick them up, you can send them that way. In art class, what we've been doing is Art 1 has been doing sketchbooks, working in their sketchbooks, working from drawing. They've also started painting. We talked about the color wheel last week. We're going into painting up some animal portraits. We just finished up still life, so you can see in Art 1 still life behind me with graphite. The other kids, the advanced kids, they did a still life with charcoal, with both black and white charcoal, and right now they're working on mixed media. And they'll continue to work on different medias throughout the school year. Photography, which is what's happening right now in the fall, they got to look at different cameras. We have 4 classroom cameras that they have the use of using, and a lot of them have been able to provide their own cameras. We looked at how they've been working, both how the lens comes off, you can change aperture, shutter speed, all sorts of great things with these DSLR cameras, and now we're starting to actually go out and take photos and work in Photoshop with those pictures. In the spring, we'll work with graphic design, so we'll work kind of primarily in Photoshop and learning how to design things. And that's about it for the art department from here.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Bronder, and I'd like to tell you about what our theology classes will be doing this year. This year, a lot of our classes are doing several projects of interest. We're starting with the sophomores and the seniors, and they're doing a prayer buddy project. And the seniors will, by the end of the year, do this icon project, which teaches the prayerful art of making icons. The Apollo students will be making gratitude pumpkins, which highlights the things and ideas that the students are grateful for on the pumpkins. In Mrs. Smitterbush's class, they will also be doing working with prayer pals, researching the modern day martyrs. In Deacon Minnick's class, the students will do a prayer and music video. And in Mrs. Bronder's, my class, the sophomores will be completing their creation quilts where they're the creators of the world, and they also learn the 2 separate stories of creation. And that picture is in the first part of the video. Hopefully you'll get to see that. Last but not least, the freshmen will be doing the Saint Project and the Christmas Carol Project for Deacon Minnick. All of these classes will have the opportunity to hear the seminarian Michael from St. Charles, and he'll be talking about Fatima and discussing the 100-year anniversary. All of the classes will also be doing rosaries, which will be kind of a fun thing for all school. The students will all also have retreats, starting with the freshmen. That retreat was in the beginning of the year. The juniors start their retreat next week with the NET team. The seniors have their retreat in November, and the sophomores will do a retreat based on the book The Shack. Lastly, the whole school is doing a school-wide read, which is from the book Inspiration in My Shoes by Diana Patton. We every Thursday have discussion day with study guide booklets that Diana has provided for us. And that's religion. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Karen Bacon. I am the language department chair for LCC. I teach French here, and Regina Reynolds, she teaches Spanish. So for Spanish 1, Regina had told me they're working on numbers right now, and they're able to describe where people and things are, and they're also working on their spelling. French is pretty much the same. We are now able to count to 100, and we are working on objects in the classroom, so they are able to identify those. For Spanish 2, they're conjugating present tense verbs, the regular and irregular, and they're giving commands. And for French 2, right now we're working on giving directions and learning about our city and town. And I have a model here. The students were to design just a model using the French words and giving directions. So I have an example right here of someone putting different little places that they would find in their towns. This is a pretty good example. For Spanish 3, they're working on pronunciation and reading comprehension. They've been watching some movies, using subtitles, and just working on their grammar skills. For Spanish 4, they are reading authentic books. It is the same in French 4. They're working on reading some texts in the language and doing more advanced writing and speaking. So, thank you.